I do not believe that there's 8 casualties of U.S. troops because this took place 4 hours ago. This is the U.S. base in Erbil in Iraq as a result of Iraqi resistance strikes in Iraqi Kurdistan. That is a real image out of Iraqi Kurdistan at the U.S. base. That is not a good look for the U.S. That looks like Trump is actually kind of like getting raped. As I've been telling all of you, one of the biggest factors in this war are the Iraqi paramilitary groups. Okay, there are many of them. This was yesterday. Iraqi resistance formations, Kataib Hezbollah, Harakat al-Nujaba, Kataib Saeed al-Shahada, Saib al-Haq are now entering the battlefield, moving in lockstep with the regional escalation and targeting American positions across Iraq. I don't remember. I think it was Kataib Hezbollah, but it also may have been Nujaba. But like a few weeks before the war started, I did a video about all of these Iraqi militant groups, what they were saying, what they were threatening. And either Kataib Hezbollah or Nujaba put out a video where they showcased in one of their underground missile facilities that they have the Fatah 1. They have the hypersonic Fatah 1. So that is a huge development that they have missiles of that capability. So that was yesterday. Today, the Islamic resistance in Iraq came out and said, "In the name of God Almighty, since today, Sunday morning, we have carried out 23 operations targeting enemy bases in Iraq and the region with dozens of suicide drones." After that, there was a lot that took place. This is what they're referring to in the morning hours. Iranian strikes U.S. base at Erbil International Airport in Iraqi Kurdistan. Warehouse hit on the U.S. base at Erbil Airport, confirmed by Sentinel-2. So they are hitting warehouses at the U.S. airbase in Iraqi Kurdistan, Erbil. Then we saw Saraya Alawiya Al-Dam in Iraq said, "We attacked the American bases in Erbil with a swarm of drones." Now, this is where things get crazy, you guys. This is where things get crazy. This is where I quite honestly, in no way, shape, or form, would not bet on it in any way that I believe that there's only 8 casualties of U.S. troops. I do not believe that there's 8 casualties of U.S. troops because this took place 4 hours ago. This is the U.S. base in Erbil in Iraq as a result of Iraqi resistance strikes in Iraqi Kurdistan. That is a real image out of Iraqi Kurdistan at the U.S. base. Okay? That is not a good look for the U.S. That looks like Trump is actually kind of like getting raped. That is not a good look. That is not what winning looks like. That is not what a 2-day in and out operation looks like. That looks like a massive, probably missile warehouse was hit and is burning because these Iraqi resistance groups, as far as I know, they are doing drone strikes right now. I've seen no reports of the Iraqi resistance groups using like big missiles or anything like that, like the Fatah 1 I mentioned. So what probably happened is there was a drone strike, which these drones are very large, but there was a drone strike on what was probably a very big missile warehouse silo, and now it is all up in flames. This is where we see it. There you go. So that was one of the strikes that took place. That was an air defense system going up, not the big plume that you saw in the other video, but I mean, still a big plume, still a big explosion. That's an air defense system. You can see all the 80 missiles firing off there. The fact that it was just taken out with a massive drone power, probably by Kataib Hezbollah or Nujaba. Also in Iraq, we witnessed something pretty incredible today. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, it was not fully overrun, but it was damn close. Thousands were flooding inside the barricades. They were grabbing heavy gear. It looks like they had some Caterpillar construction vehicles that they were able to get through the security checkpoint. And yeah, so there you go. They've got some sort of like a bulldozer that they brought in. They've got explosives. I'll turn the volume down. You can listen to exactly what is going on here, but they are storming the entryway to the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Again, they did not enter the U.S. Embassy fully. Later in the night, we had even more chaos in Baghdad as clashes erupted between local police and protesters, attempting to storm the green zone where the U.S. Embassy is located. Bro, I hope this guy's not saying anything bad. To be honest, I have no idea what he's saying. Thomas Keith, great Twitter account. You should all follow him if you want really good, up-to-date information about what's going on in this conflict. I was never here on Twitter. Highly recommend. He writes, clashes are intensifying near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad as protesters push toward the suspension bridge and attempt to force their way into the green zone. Crowds have tried to breach the main gate leading to the embassy, prompting Iraqi security forces to deploy tear gas in an effort to push them back. Confrontations continue along the main road into the green zone, with more protesters arriving and the standoff growing more volatile. Okay? Now, here is probably one of the most surprising parts of the story. And this is the last part of the Iraq story. Then we're going to be getting into how Saudi Arabia and the UAE may be joining the war now, which is crazy. But Ayatollah Makrem Shirazi and Grand Ayatollah Nouri Hamadani, both Iranian clerics, they both declared jihad for the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei. Okay, so two Iranian clerics, two of the the most important Iranian Ayatollahs declared jihad. And I mean, what can I say? I'm not surprised, okay? I mean, they were very close with Ayatollah Khamenei. This is an existential war for the Iranian nation, for the Iranian civilization. But what was very surprising is that even though it was rumored, it was talked about, it was discussed that Ayatollah Sistani in Iraq was going to be issuing a fatwa against America and issuance of jihad if, in fact, Khamenei was targeted or martyred. Sistani came out and merely offered condolences to the Iranian nation and called for unity. So very interesting. Doesn't change the fact that Iraqi, militia groups are all operating. Doesn't change the fact that, the green zone is on the precipice of being overrun. Well, probably not overrun. It would just be a lot of dead people, right? They would just kill a bunch of people. That's probably what would actually happen. Doesn't change that, but it is very interesting. I'm not an internal Iraqi player here. I don't got the inside ballpark details or whatever it's called, but that I do find interesting. We'll see if that develops. Try to figure that one out. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.